Hello everyone, I am Renown Zero. We are back again talking about how Nintendo has now modified the patent amid ongoing Palworld lawsuit. Now, for the people that have been around for long enough on the channel, they know that I have been absolutely keeping up with this lawsuit because Palworld is an absolutely fantastic game. It is better than anything Pokemon has produced in the last decade or so, and it is very interesting to me that Nintendo would go after a competitor rather than simply just making their video games of Pokemon better than they have ever been. Basically, Palworld was touted as the Pokemon with guns. And for those of you that have not kept up, and you haven't kept up or you're new to the channel, let me just bring you up to speed. Palworld did release in January of 2024. It was on Xbox Game Pass, day one, and it was available for purchase on both Xbox and PC before it ever became available on the PlayStation 5. Literally months after that happened, around May of 2024, Nintendo decided that they were going to suddenly just create patents for things like mounting and throwing objects and having a monster come out of a spherical object, which is something that Pokemon has done forever. Other games involving capturing monsters have done forever. It just so happened to be very interesting that all of a sudden Palworld, being very popular and selling millions and millions of copies, is actually sold over 15 million copies by now, that they would suddenly just make these patents for game mechanics that have been around in games for a very long time. And I think it's very interesting that because Palworld is the most successful one, now they decided to go after Pocket Pair and Palworld simply because it has become more popular than Pokemon has been in a very long time. Now, of course, you have those Nintendo fanboys that are always going to buy everything Pokemon and claim it's the greatest thing ever. Trust me, I haven't been around Pokemon since Sapphire on the GBA, and from what I've seen, it's been very terrible on the Switch as far as performance goes. And I was actually interested in Pokemon Legends Arceus, but eventually I just stopped caring because, well, they've been releasing so many new Pokemon games in the last couple of years that buying one, then you have to buy the next one, and just seems the quality of the games hasn't been good. But Palworld was an absolutely fantastic experience to play. I wish I could end up going back to it. I do want to end up going back to it at some point because it is such a fun game and I've missed quite a few updates. Now, we're going to get into this article really quick by Insider Gaming here. It says, according to the latest developments in the Nintendo and Pokemon Company's patent infringement lawsuit against Palworld, the former has recently modified one of its patents. Now, the bad thing about things like this, when you patent game mechanics, you had Warner Brothers completely shut down one of their divisions, I think it was Monolith, that created the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War video games shortly after talking about how they're going to come out with Wonder Woman with the Nemesis system that they patented. The patent is, the system can no longer be used until 2030 when the patent ends. So now people are locking game mechanics behind patents that can no longer be used, and then if a studio goes under, that the game mechanic is lost for quite some time. Now, as I said earlier, the idea of a character mounting an animal, or mounting what they would call a mount, is so crazy to me that you would patent a mechanic like that that's been in video games for a long time. Even World of Warcraft had mounting of, mounts, and so did games like Final Fantasy XI. And you even have Final Fantasy XIV. For those unaware, Nintendo, Pokemon Company, and Pocket Pair, the publisher for Palworld, have been in a legal battle for close to a year now. It is a patent infringement lawsuit in which Nintendo alleges that Palworld has infringed on 3 of its patents that they created after the game released 4 months later. Palworld and Pocket Pair have already argued invalidity. However, it seems Nintendo may have another card up its sleeve. According to a report by GamesFray, Nintendo has recently visited the Japan Patent Office to request a modification to one of its patent claims, and this request has been granted. For those wondering, there are 3 patents in question. 2 focus on collecting characters, and 1 is about smooth switching between flying and riding objects. Because they did a 3rd patent in which Palworld, I guess, essentially bent the knee and had to remove a mechanic where you would use a PAL to glide through the air, just so they wouldn't get in more trouble with Nintendo. Nintendo has revised the patent claim for the patent related to smooth switching between writing objects. The report explains that the revision of Nintendo's patent doesn't introduce, quote, any new technical matter. However, its wording has been described as extremely contorted. GameSpray adds that this kind of wording is, quote, trying to complicate things for the purpose of putting up a huge smokescreen. Moreover, phrases like even when are not usually found in patent claims. Here's an excerpt from the modified Nintendo patent. Quote, and even when any boarding character other than the aerial boarding character capable of moving in the air is the currently selected boarding character, and a first operation input is given. When the player character is in the air, the computer causes the aerial boarding character to appear in a virtual space and causes the player character to board the aerial boarding character instead of the currently selected boarding character from among the boarding characters. It's all code. It has to do with code. You know, if this happens, then this happens. It's all coding with different coding languages like Python, JavaScript, and C++, things of that nature, even C#. There are different coding things going on when it comes to all this techie stuff here. Furthermore, the report tells us that litigants don't change a patent in the middle of an infringement case unless they feel the patent is at a fairly high risk of being deemed invalid in its original form. So basically, Nintendo's trying to be sneaky and knowing that they're going to possibly lose the lawsuit because of the fact that they created game mechanic patents after Palworld has been around for 4 months is hilarious. However, sometimes these revisions can allow the litigant to quote-unquote survive the invalidity contentions and also establish an infringement by the accused product or service. It's because they know Palworld is better than Pokemon has ever been. It is also speculated that Nintendo's revisions to its patent claims in the Palworld lawsuit may not be targeting just Pocket Pair. They can also be used to discourage other companies from making games that resemble Pokemon in any form or shape or form. In other news, they came up with a new Tides of Terraria update, which is like a crossover between Palworld and the game Terraria, which is absolutely crazy. So far they've had to remove 3 different mechanics. The fact that you would throw a Palsphere and a Pokemon pops up, whether you throw the Palsphere, so now it's just a static spawn that's alongside the player. They got rid of gliding using Pals, even though people say that there's really no gliding in Pokemon whatsoever using Pokemon, but it's just crazy to me that a big company like Nintendo and the Pokemon Company could easily make another smaller company bend the knee essentially and remove game mechanics that have been around forever from their game just because their game is becoming more successful and more popular than yours has been in recent years. Like I said, Pokemon is a huge brand. It is always going to sell millions and millions of copies. Pokemon is basically Nintendo's Call of Duty, where no matter what game comes out, no matter how poorly it performs, people are still going to buy it because it's Pokemon. And you're going to continue to see people just continuously buy Pokemon, even though, in my opinion, Palworld is a much better game, better optimized, it looks better, and it plays better. It's just better stuff overall. Even the designs, I think, in my opinion, are better than recent designs in Pokemon. But I just like to keep you guys updated on this lawsuit specifically because I love the game of Palworld and I really need to get back and play some more of Palworld. I missed quite a bit of updates in that game. I've just been preoccupied with a lot of other games that have come out in the past year or so. Right now we're playing Donkey Kong Bonanza and Stellar Blade I need to finish up. So thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, and return viewers. If you do like this video, smash the like button. Comment below if you feel about this. Subscribe for more content. Hit the bell for notifications. Set the bell to all. That way you get a notification anytime I post a new video or go live on the channel. See you guys in the next one. Peace.